the best way to think about it is, it's not that you have a job and it's vacant for the whole year. Let's say someone is in a job and they leave on January 31st, but you don't hire their replacement until April, because you go out and you do a process and you interview people and you don't hire them until April. So what you've done is you've literally come up with savings in February and March. So instead of paying their salary for the whole year, you've come up with 2 months of savings, and that gets kind of put into banked into account. So what we had was $600,000 worth of savings for all of Erie County, which is roughly what we're going to end up having in savings in 2012, which is $600,000 from jobs just not being filled for a particular time during the year. They tripled the amount. They came up with another and said, you can come up with another $1.2 million in savings, and that, of course, reduces the overall expense line of the county. It's going to be impossible to do that. It doesn't happen. It's a line on a budget that says, ooh, look at our budget balances now. We got rid of the tax increase, but it doesn't balance, and that's why I say this is unbalanced. There's a hole in it. I'm afraid the control board, when they meet, will go hard. Maybe they won't. But in the meantime, I have to come up with a plan to rectify it. If I don't come up with a plan, they will go hard. If I do come up with a plan, they might not go hard, but the plan's not going to be pretty to match. And remember, we have a 4-year plan. This has created substantive holes in the 4-year plan in the out years. Mm. And if I propose, well, next year I'll fix that hole by coming up with a property tax increase, control board's going to come back and say, you tried that this year and it failed. Why do you think that would be reasonable?
Let me ask you this. So the coalition that made these amendments to your budget, the 5 Republicans and Democrat from Amherst, Tom Logren, these people who represent districts who often scream and yell about taxes, and they're the beneficiaries of county services, mm-hmm. but none of the county services that anyone ever seems willing to cut or able to cut. I mean, essentially, roads, road projects, sheriff's patrols, and various other services as well. But they seem to think that what they're paying for are inner city services exclusively. Is there a way to make them feel the pain of these cuts?
I control the management of county finances as the chief executive and chief budget officer, and I will manage it appropriately. If I have to cut road projects, I will. If we have to put a hiring freeze in, and that means we don't have enough people to keep some of the parks open, maybe we'll have to close a park or two. Not all of them. If we have a hiring freeze and we don't hire seasonal workers for the summer, well, we'll have parks open, but we probably won't have beaches open. Road projects are the first area where we control a big chunk of the money. Now, I can't just eliminate all road projects. That would be silly because it would hurt us. It would also could be risky if we have roads that are damaged and need to be repaired. But we may not do as many projects as we planned for the upcoming year because we won't have the cash available to do it. The Sheriff's Road Patrols has always been a bone of contention. I think the Sheriff's Road Patrols are a valuable resource, but maybe we do need to revisit what the prior county executive, Giambra, had talked about, which is charging the towns that seek the Sheriff's Road Patrol. Otherwise, maybe they should disappear. I like the Sheriff's Road Patrol as an idea. I think it's a valuable resource for the county, but we can't continue to keep paying for it if we have no money for it.
Let's see, what next? Well, I guess since we've just discussed that, let's go right into politics. And then maybe after that we'll talk a little bit about union relations. So this week, as a result of this budget battle, you've been sort of presented a political problem. A member of your party defected. This seems to happen on the legislature with great regularity. How do you respond to that? You're the chief elected Democrat in this county. How do you respond to a member of your party bowing to pressure from a conservative constituency or an imagined conservative constituency and leaving you on this what must be a pretty important issue for you, your first budget?
Well, it is an important issue. I was disappointed, and I expressed that repeatedly to Tom Logren. I mean, I like Tom. We've worked together on many different things, and I'm sure we'll work together on other things as we go together, or as we move ahead. He made a decision based on what he thought was what people were talking about. I didn't hear that there was this overwhelming outcry against the tax increase. Truthfully, we didn't see that. We didn't get many emails, we didn't get many phone calls, and we had more phone calls, emails, and people showing up at meetings in support of it than not. I know Tom, he said he's not going anywhere, he's staying a Democrat. He's going to support, I believe, Betty Jean Grant for chair next year, so I mean that's a good sign, unlike prior years in which people would have cut deals to become chairperson. I think Tom just stated that he felt it was inappropriate to have a tax increase, and I told him you can't continue that forever. There are times, I mean, government's expenses go up, and when our revenues go down, which they did this past year, our revenues went down because we didn't get as much in property tax assessment. To make up the difference, we had to raise the rate a little bit. We didn't go above the tax cap, and most communities across the New York State, especially counties, are going well above the tax cap to meet their obligations. We didn't. We proposed a raise in taxes, but below the tax cap. He voted against it. Tom made a decision, and now I have to deal with it. And going forward, he'll either hear it from the public or he won't. I don't know. I mean, that we'll see. I'm not certain if he's going to run again. If he runs again, then he'll have to go out there and tell the public why he did what he did. I'm sure some people will be very happy and others will be very upset.